Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and the wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the right couch, and for the right amount.
Oh, you're gonna eating candy on mic. Welcome to this week in white supremacy.
I almost was like Lil Duval, but I pulled it back.
Hold it back. We're happy that you're joining us today. As folks start coming in, I'm Jasiri X. I am the co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. To my immediate right, Miracle.
Yeah, hi y'all. It's Miracle. Your resident everything correspondent, the other half of the Wonder Twins. Just here, happy on this Wednesday. Happy we're here halfway through the week.
Absolutely. Me too. NLS, you got the fresh reject gear on. You know what I'm saying? The brand new, newest, latest.
You feel me? We out here rejecting fear. You feel me? Treble NLS.
Latest style.
Hey, I like that.
Newest latest style. I like that. And the man who every week earns his name, the supervillain.
Niggas love Saeed.
Hey,
niggas love Saeed, man. Niggas love Saeed.
Not everybody, but
not everybody. We justify.
We love you, brother.
I'm an acquired taste. I'm an acquired taste. I've learned this over my 30 plus years of walking this planet. Alhamdulillah. I'm an acquired taste, and I get that because you know what? I could hold myself accountable for things, and that's the biggest thing. That's what we ask for is accountability amongst adults, innit?
Absolutely.
You get me? So yeah, but niggas love Saeed.
All right. Well, I'm glad. I don't know what you held yourself accountable for, but
I'm just gonna sip my water today, bro. I'm just gonna stay hydrated and mind my business.
As long as you're holding yourself accountable, we're happy. You know what I'm saying that we moved on. So it's a lot. I know I say it's a lot every week. It's a lot of white supremacy. Is there anywhere specifically we want to start? We saw, COVID-19 cases hit 500,000. We saw.
So in all seriousness, since it looks like we can go with COVID-19. Please, people, take this serious.
But if you're not saying, I saw somebody tweet, bro. Somebody was like, y'all had a year to understand what asymptomatic meant, yet we're still only taking people's temperatures. And I was just like, damn, like it kind of hit me like, yo, that's real. You know what I'm saying? So if by now we're not understanding that it's still, mask and social distancing and everything like that. What is going to get people to understand that? You know what I'm saying?
If you can't look at Wuhan, China or New Zealand and get inspiration, they're back to regular life. Like America could have regularity restored. We don't have to have a violent new normal. We can go back to a new acceptable, peaceful, enjoyable normal. But no, you niggas want to come out the house during the fucking All-Star game. You niggas want to come out. I'm just saying.
The All-Star game is going to be in Atlanta. That is kind of wild to me. I know it has nothing to do with you. I did want to say this, Miracle. It is wild of the NBA to because
irresponsible. Irresponsible is the word we're looking for.
If I'm in Atlanta and I just want to kind of like what you said, I'm feeling hopeful. Like COVID cases are going down, people are getting. I'm feeling hopeful. It's like regardless of if the NBA says we don't want you partying, we don't want anything, or if the mayor Keisha Bombs, because I think she said that people are still going to come out because it's the All-Star game. It's really not fair. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like Miracle like it's not fair to you all? Or are you, are you trying to,
go kick it
with ball players?
First of all, let's not tell my business on no.
They trying to get chose. They trying to get chose.
Number two, people hop flights and come down here and bring the COVID-19. So, it's like, these Northerners, these people who like need to see the sun, they come down here and act the fool and like spread and then be little colonizers and go back home. It's not necessarily us, but at the end of the day, if our state is open, people have to go to work because our government, which is a white-run, white-led, I know y'all think Keisha in Atlanta, no. The state is white-run, white-led, said we're not opening up, and we're not closing down all the way. If we don't close down, we don't get unemployment, we don't get PP loans, all this other type of stuff, so people have to go to work. And again, this NBA, which is run on the backs of Black people, whether it's I'm gonna slap you. No, JK, accountability, non-violence. God, I'm done. I lost it. It's gone.
No. I think
you walked right into it. I'm sorry. You walked right into it.
It's not my fault if they called it PPP loans. Like whatever.
You said PP loans, not you didn't add that there.
Well, I mean, I'm just
you know
saying.
What, you're so immature. You were so immature.
But you're right, Miracle. Like this is capitalism. This is like. We still ain't got, Biden's in office. We still ain't got our $2,000 checks or $1,400 checks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's people saying like, oh, instead of $15 an hour, we should put $10 an hour. $15 an hour is not even a livable wage. And so just like you're saying, this is capitalism, which says, regardless of it's a global pandemic, we're going to stay open. We're going to, force folks to work and risk their lives and risk their livelihoods. And just like you said, it's the NBA. This is the decision of the commissioner and the owners. All the players, all the well-known players said, we don't want to go to the All-Star game. We should not be having this. But just that TV money, those billion-dollar contracts that these owners sold.
You niggas gonna dribble these balls.
Right, you're absolutely right. And so it's kind of like this whole. I mean, it is, and you got just like you said, you're going to Atlanta because why? What's going on?
I think I'm the only one who caught the joke.
Yeah.
What's going on, Miracle?
We were just gonna...
There's something going on with Miss Michelle that she's going live on her. I think live on her.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Well,
okay.
somebody had said like the police got called. Like they called the police on her. It said a manager at Burger King called the police on Miss Michelle. So we gonna hold Miss Michelle down. You know what I'm saying? This is for those that don't know. We're talking about the mother of Antoine Rose II, who was killed by police outside of Pittsburgh. And so that we gonna hold Miss Michelle down always. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, just to get back to you, I think this is just like we were saying. This is capitalism, and this is a product of it. And it's basically like we're just gonna push through, and this is why we're in this situation with 500,000 people dead. The White House had their little vigil and their little candle lighting ceremony, but it's back. It seems like even with Joe Biden, we're back to business. It's Joe Biden's president. We still ain't got our checks. It's still a debate.
But we have Black people and biracial couples in advertisements.
Do you know what?
We might not have checks. We might not have a cure for COVID, but we got biracial couples in advertisements. And if don't make Joe Biden hopeful, I don't know what does.
What it is. It's like we asked for equity and we got Black Lives Matter painted on the street. Like I don't get it. And also, I hate saying this, but like, did we not understand what slavery was? Like, do we not understand that you had biracial children during slavery and colonization and imperialism? Like, I don't understand why they keep saying because we have interracial couples, like racism is somehow going to sleep or going away. Right. Like, read a book. Like, I don't.
We got
his wife a teacher. Can't you
date or marry somebody? But
Joe got elected, and we got Kamala as a vice president. This is post-racial America part 2. You didn't get the memo?
America,
you niggas, I got the memo. Them niggas, I could have swore I seen you niggas CC'd on the email.
I mean, I think you make a great point, Miracle. It's like the idea that like companies can't be racist that have a black face on it. I mean, we're just talking about the NBA, like what you can't be racist and own an NBA team. We know that's not the fact, or own an NFL team if the majority of players are black. You know what I'm saying? And you just like you said, like the idea, and the wild part was Joe Biden basically said he was hopeful because of the biracial couples. He was asked a question about policing in America, about how to hold police accountable and how to do actual real police reform. What'd you say?
So we got date police officers to get them to stop killing us.
Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, and we know, like, it's that, the presence of black police officers doesn't mean that it's going to change anything. I mean, we kind of saw that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's kind of one of the points that people made with Judas and the Black Messiah, the movie about Fred Hampton. Like, just having a black person in the FBI doesn't mean that it's equality. When those are the individuals, oftentimes you're going to send into our organizations or movements to destabilize them. So what does that actually mean in the face? And this idea that, like, if you're married to a black person, you can't also be racist or be white supremacist. It's also, like, super, super ridiculous, because we've seen over and over again that's not the case. You know what I'm saying?
White supremacy always manifests in the form of policing. It doesn't matter what color the officers are. So, we got all these officers being charged right now. Former New York police officers charged with trying to gouge someone's eyes out at the Capitol. You see that why we say defund the police is because when you look at it, how many officers have, or former officers or law enforcement adjacent people, have been charged or allegedly suspected in participating in these Capitol riots? The shit exists within itself. It's a cancer that it through osmosis or whatever, through whatever procedure it touches. I'm escaping the scientific terms right now, but it just replicates and it manifests in these super violent terms. So it don't matter if we got black police officers. Don't, you know what I mean? Like, Biden dodged the question why he ran on a law and order platform. He got Kamala the cop as a vice president who ran on a law and order platform, and they both locked up plenty black and brown people. And you had an opportunity to address something, and yet you deferred for the sleight of hand. Fuck out of here, nigga.
He's not one of them, though.
One of them to me.
Well, I mean, I think that's the whole point around, where there's this conversation around the, like, kinder and gentler, kids in cages? It's not kids in cages now. It's like
it's a spa.
Right. We have this,
a family detention center. It's cages.
Yes.
Children are in cages. Children are still being separated. People are still being deported. Primarily Haitian immigrants, primarily black
Haitian,
people
Jamaican,
are being deported under this administration. So it's like the racism is still there. The anti-blackness is still there. And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I feel like Joe kind of like peeps that the jig is up, because when I watched that specific clip, it's like the way he dodged that question was like it's almost like he thinks something about the police that he doesn't want the public to know. He's like, I actually fuck with the police. Let's talk about these biracial couples in advertisements.
Well, I mean, he can't, because like how police unions contribute so much to re-election campaigns. Like, he can't sit shit on the police, especially when he at one point, and even still, is about law and order. He can't publicly say anything bad about the police, because that's a huge, re-election percentage of his money that would just be gone. You know what I mean? So he need that shit, man.
I don't think, brother, I would say we don't want him to shit on the police. Like, we want, like, policies that protect black and brown people. Like, that's what we want. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we don't
want him to say these niggas is bugging.
No, I mean, we want.
No, because he can't say the N-word. We had that conversation. Not white.
What if Joe Biden was like,
the N-word pass?
What if Joe Biden had Joe Button say it for him? He brought Joe Button.
He already said, what did he say? If you don't vote for him, you ain't black. So he already, we kind of know how he thinks. But that was the thing, like what Treble said, the question is about policy. And so, you don't have an actual policy because you don't want to actually produce real policy around policing. So what do? Oh, hey, we should be hopeful, America. Look at all these biracial commercials. And it's like, but we're still being killed. We're still being brutalized. And what are we seeing? We saw, the case in Rochester, New York with the brother Daniel, where they put a something over his head to prevent him from breathing over his face. That was on video. They lied about what happened. They tried to suppress the video from coming out. The video finally comes out. Those police officers aren't held accountable for their death, right? We found out that, Elijah McClain, the young brother who was killed, and I think it was Aurora, Colorado, should not have even been stopped by the police in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, their own investigation said he was doing nothing wrong. He was minding his business. He should not stop by the police. Those officers were fired, but we don't have any, like, they should be charged with his murder. He was given ketamine, they said, at the scene that helped contribute to his death. That was ketamine, like, made, but they like, it was for somebody that was supposed to be much heavier or bigger. And so we've seen this. Remember, we saw the officers in Buffalo not be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? And so I think we're seeing Capitol rioters, like you said, many of whom are, former police officers, this former NYPD officer that tried to gouge a Capitol officer's eyes out. It was an officer from Pennsylvania who texted his friend, I might get arrested by the FBI, LOL. So we're seeing all of these things and we're not seeing any accountability. So here, like, this is where the federal government could actually come in and they could actually say, here is a federal policy on policing. This was one of the things that Biden and Harris ran on. They supposedly ran on, we're going to have better policing. We're going to have better relationships. So, in this first 100 days, this is supposed to be when you hold these folks accountable. And if you can't even say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Here's some policy that we're even thinking about. But you kind of like what Treble said, you're going to deflect the question and say, oh, well, by the way, have you watched TV? Who's watching TV and what? I ain't seen a commercial in 100. I don't watch TV, man. I don't watch stuff with commercials in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Netflix and HBO Max, man. Looking at no commercials. It's 2021. But this idea that that's what you're doing, instead of having real common sense policing, is why the country is where we at right now. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I know that was a rant, but damn, you know what I'm saying? Is there any pushback that we can do, Miracle? How do we
take our own Capitol insurrection and demand, but not breaking down walls and stuff? Because they'll put us under the jail. They'll be like, oh, y'all thought the fifth we are restrained? Let us show you something else. But yeah, I think doing the calls, everybody has been doing these calls, these emails. People are out marching and protesting. Shout out to the DC Black Lives Matter chapter. I think they've been protesting every day for 3 or 4 months. Through snow, everything. Keep pushing, keep fighting. And also what we need is these journalists in the press corps who've been put in work to be getting busy with this Biden administration and calling out on their bullshit. Senator Warren was no, you can change student loans. All people are just fed up, and that's what it's going to have to take. We have to bully people as nice as possible. We're going to have to bully folks
peacefully bully.
To do the bare minimum. That's what it's turning into.
It's important. It's important to highlight
petitions, not bully physically. Go ahead, Farooq.
No. It's important to highlight that because the FBI just said most of last year's terrorist attacks were submitted by white supremacists, by these ultra-violent white supremacists, right? And we have to, like you said, within this first 100 days of this new administration, talk about better policing. Right. When I hear better policing, I'm confused on that subject because does that mean more efficient policing? Does that mean more equitable policing? Does that mean more, humane policing? Or are we talking about policing that is a lot more violent and more efficient in the same manner? So when we look at what terrorist looks like right now, terrorism in current state of the United States of America is white supremacy. This is by the FBI. This is by the DOJ. So these Black Lives Matter protesters, I hate when they throw Black Lives Matter and protesters because we should not have to protest that our lives matter. It's Black Lives Matter activists, Black human beings who are fighting for the right to be recognized as equal as other people in this country, can now finally look and say, we are not, nor were we ever, a threat to the national security. This is exactly what we've been talking about for the past at least 10 years since social media has been around, that this is not a terrorist organization. This country harbors, supports, and influences domestic terrorism by breeding white supremacy, and the DOJ and the FBI just finally put this out. That's a rant. My bad. I'm sorry. I had that one kind of cocked and loaded.
No, you should. And then even, brother, just to touch on it, even when we catch white supremacist terrorism on video, we just saw at the Capitol, even then they aren't held accountable. And then, when you talk about policing, brother, because like you said, one of the things that people will say are like, oh, you know, we need more black officers. We need to recruit more black officers. We saw that here when, you know, they did this commission on this task force on policing in Pittsburgh. It's like, oh, we need more black officers. Well, guess what? You know, there was a black officer who just gave a deathbed confession that said, oh, by the way, I participated as an NYPD officer in the murder of Malcolm X alongside the FBI. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, how, like, so then when you talk about
please
more,
speak on that. Please speak on
right. Now, this is something that a lot of people also understood. You know what I'm saying? And said, you know, somebody had mentioned, you know, one of my favorite rock bands, Rage Against the Machine, that, you know, Zach De La Rocha had a line that said, you know what I'm saying, they murdered X and try to blame it on Islam. Like, a lot of people already understood and that the FBI participated in the death of Malcolm. If you study Malcolm X's assassination, his head of security was somebody. Are you eating something, brother? Are you what you snacking on? Nigga, what kind of big bag of chips?
I was trying to move it. I'm sorry.
Oh, but no, for real. I think like, yes, come on, brother. But that's the thing, like, you know, that his head of security was somebody from the NYPD, and so here's Ray Woods, this you know, black officer, confirming that NYPD and FBI conspired to assassinate Malcolm X. You know, his daughters have called for a reopening an investigation. I think they said the NYPD said they were going to reopen the investigation. The FBI so far hasn't really said anything. I know there's been calls over about like release all the files. The FBI has sealed files. They have.
I would say they probably redacted, like with the Kennedy assassination. Like we're not going to get in
files.
Yeah, like.
But why not? I mean, at this point, like that's one of the things.
Everybody should be dead.
Well, like, I mean, even if they're not, like, how do we don't repeat history if we first know history? You know what I'm saying? We're not going to repeat it. And so when you now, you know, call, you know, like you said, Black Lives Matter activists, black identity extremists, you know what I'm saying? When you're trying to target.
That's the most disrespectful fucking nomenclature.
Absolutely. But I mean, we've seen, you know, Black Lives Matter activists right here in Pittsburgh targeted, felony charges put on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're seeing a repeat of this history. You know what I'm saying? And so if we don't reckon with what happened in the 60s, what happened to Martin Luther King, what happened to Malcolm X, what happened to JFK and Bobby Kennedy, and if we don't get that information, then we're doomed to repeat it, you know what I'm saying, in 2021, where we're currently making history every day. Like, we don't think of it as that because we're actively involved in it, but that's what we're doing.
You said two things that I need to highlight real quick, which are today's magic words. It was, no one got my Pee Wee Herman reference? That's fucked up.
I don't know. I didn't know what you was doing.
Man. Anyway, the word of the day, this nigga said,
got some acid. No, I'm just
man, this nigga said, Bobby in 2021, we gotta take our time out right now to welcome the brother Bobby Shmurda home, man. Bobby's home. Bobby, bitch. I'm glad my nigga Bobby home, man.
Yes,
stay 10 toes.
Maybe his hat will finally fall.
Man, they said his hat was coming down like an asteroid. I seen that shit and I was weak, bro. We just got welcome. We just got.
Yeah, I mean, it is, bro. It's interesting to see, you know, Bobby come home, and it will be interesting, particularly as, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, you juxtapose what Bobby did, of course, with somebody like 6ix9ine who's not black and trying to, like, capitalize on black culture. But, you know, I don't know, like, I guess, you know, some people maybe felt a certain type of way about how Bobby Shmurda came home, because he came home, you know, to, you know, it wasn't
white
a lot of
Queens.
Oh no. Not white chocolate.
So people did have a question.
He came home to some white stallions, man. Bobby came home to the Clydesdales.
So, I mean, here's a question, like, I don't know, and you know, the wild part is, bro, like, normally when you're, like, if you're in prison, like, black women be the ones that are gonna hold you down, make sure you're good, like, you know what I'm saying? So it is, I'm wondering if, you know, there were, I didn't even see his mama. Like, was his mama there? Like, is his mom alive?
Mom Dukes is on FaceTime.
Okay, Mom Dukes.
Mom Dukes is on FaceTime, man. But
You
listen,
can't even comment. You can't comment.
Listen,
I
see
thought
the
y'all
picture.
said those are his friends. I thought y'all were saying those are his friends.
I'm not casting no judgment. You know what I mean? Like maybe, like if he like what he like, cool. You know, if he was like, listen, you know,
those
maybe because his girlfriend was
about.
coming. His girlfriend was coming to jail. Maybe, you know, that was his conjugal visits and everything.
But just like you said, maybe this is that maybe this is that post-racial society. Like Bobby,
it's the new post-racial part too.
Interracial couple, biracial.
Yes, that's the plan.
What if Biden sent him? What if Biden sent him?
Oh man,
I don't know.
Take over.
Biden's granddaughters? I don't know. So yeah, but shout out to Bobby. You know what I'm saying? We're glad he's home. You know what I'm saying? We're glad Rowdy's home. You know what I'm saying? You know, for those that did welcome him home, like thank y'all for welcoming him home. You know what I'm saying?
Also, people in New York do jury nullification. Why in the if the state can play with people's time, give them from 6 months to 7 years because they don't snitch and cooperate with this white supremacist system, free everybody, free the whole team, bring all the people home. Stop voting to convict folks. Like it's ridiculous. This is not keeping any of us safe. Just trash.
No, that's real. That's real. And there was also, I guess, there was another rapper in the news. You know, I feel, because last week, you know, there was a rapper you all might know that kind of got involved into some stuff around anti-Semitism. You know, thankfully, you know,
do we know rappers? We know.
Listen, I was legitimately.
I was like another one.
I was like, wait, what?
Not again. Treble was like, not again.
No, Mr. Monsieur X.
This was last week. This was last week. You know, thankfully, you know, and shout out to Zach Banner and the panel that we had. For if y'all missed it, it was called Athletes Against Anti-Semitism. You know, I was on the panel. You know what I'm saying? And you know, there was a moment where folks didn't think I was supposed to be. They tried to get me up out of there. You know, the panel's still with me. I said what I said, panel, and you know, folks kind of rock with it. But you know, young Pharaoh is about he's a diehard anti-Semitic.
The Black Republican
is about that anti-Semitic life. Apparently,
the alpha male Hotep himself.
Right, but what's wild about this young Pharaoh was that it didn't stop the what is it, CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee, from actually inviting him to their conference, putting him on the main stage as a speaker. You know what I'm saying? So this was young Pharaoh, and then they, saw a lot of young Pharaoh's anti-Semitic tweets. Ironically, the CPAC conference was called American Uncancelled. And then they canceled young Pharaoh. And then young Pharaoh pointed out, hey, the guy who runs the CPAC, I guess he got called out for anti-Semitic tweets as well. And so it's just a lot of white supremacy and racism happening. You know what I'm saying? Like Hoteps, I guess, are up in arms. I don't know.
If you don't know, and you probably shouldn't, but if you don't know, young Pharaoh make Dr. Umar look like Don Lemon. Okay? That's how bad young Pharaoh is, right, man? Young Pharaoh is a wild nigga. You get me? Like,
bro, I'm so far removed from Hotepery that I don't even know who young Pharaoh is.
You're lucky.
That's good.
You are lucky.
Yes. If you have a person on your timeline that's tweeting young Pharaoh into it, just unfollow that person. I mean, it's just cool.
He's like a losing battle with that one. Like, you're not gonna be able to convince them of nothing.
Anybody, I just don't understand. And I wonder is his cap locks on all the time? Like, does he just does he communicate in text and emails in all caps as well, or is it just Twitter? Because I don't know. I just saw some of his tweets, but the all caps person, if that's your thing, that's. Come on, man.
If I may borrow your shit, I'm gonna push back on you. All caps is nowhere near as bad as Grand Rising. We need to stop people saying that. Please stop. please stop with the Grand Risings, right?
I don't.
I'm over it. 2021. Learn a different language.
Good morning is voice supremacist language.
You just celebrated your rotation around the sun, right?
I mean, you
should be one with the universe right now.
Listen, my onks and my pyramids might not be aligned for that, man.
Now listen, Miracle. That whole rotation around the sun, like I be saying that to people. So
I fuck with it too.
It's not rooted in anything weird.
I must not burn enough incense for this shit, man.
Some days I be like, "Good morning, King. Adjust your crown." Stuff happens. The Hoteps be there. It seeps in and out sometimes.
Man, as long
like the first time a nigga said Grand Rising, he was like, "Yo."
I'm sliding into all the DMs with this. I can't, man. Good morning, yo. No more.
She came to me like a
Grand
queen.
Rising Queen. Grand Rising Queen. Listen, this is what I'm saying. In my mind, the same niggas who say Grand Rising Queen or the same nigga who put their hand on the small of your back when they try to, excuse me, beautiful, real quick. Those are the same type of niggas.
The diagram.
Right? Yeah, it's just like, excuse me, beautiful. I'm sorry, let me slide past you real quick. Like, it's the same type of people to me, bro. It just
all that shit.
Right. It is weird though, too. Like you can be super black. I mean, super quote unquote pro-black in Africa. And, clearly, young Pharaoh, when it comes to Jewish people, took his name a little bit too literally, like young Pharaoh, like that. That's over, man.
People go.
That time is past. We about humanity and love for everybody, regardless of their religion, young Pharaoh. Let that go. But I mean, it's just weird to me that you can be like pro-black, pro-Africa. We need to know a knowledge of self, but then be down with the Republican Party. I just don't. Can you somebody enlighten me? How do you make that work? How do you
Snowteps
connect
and Hoteps and Broteps?
I have always said that American Black folks have always been thirsting for a connection and an identity that we will never have. We will never know our ancestors. We will never know the prayers that were prayed to that, like the majority of us 2,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. We don't have that institutional memory, and we'll never get it back. Like, let's be honest. 23andMe is not giving us culture. It's not helping us to figure it. We're just never going to get it. And so what you have is a segment of the population that takes on these conspiracy theories as an identity, as an ideology, to therefore say they have some claim, some validation for white America to value them and to respect them, and to say, I'm not like those Black people over there, or I'm not like that group you hate over there, or I hate the same group you do. Let's link up. But as we have seen, Black people, you are disposable. You cannot take on, if you read Audre Lorde, the tools of the master and think it's going to dismantle the master's house or build you a suite in the master's backyard. And we just keep coming here again and again and again. And until people just understand there are some things that we're just not going to get back in this lifetime, we're just going to be here next week. It'll be somebody else next week. It'll be another, that's just what it is.
No. Now,
I'll take it a step further.
Did you see the tacky ad? But pause. But if y'all go to the rep for Egypt, can y'all just stop using these tacky ass gold-plated stuff that y'all get from Walmart and just do a better aesthetic? That's all I ask. It's giving Halloween, it's giving Party City, and I just want more for you. I want you to want more for yourself.
Whenever I see that shit, I can automatically smell frankincense.
Oh no!
Whenever I see that shit, I'm like, man, this nigga look like frankincense and must. I know.
So listen, right? I'll say this: deodorant. As a spiritual Black person, I feel like Hoteps give such a terrible name to Black spiritualists because they have this whole ideology of open your third eye, brother. But it's like, bro, you want to open your third eye, but you also want to align every other chakra as well. You know what I'm saying? If you're just opening your third eye, of course you're going to think you're different than, or you're going to come across a point where you're starting to other yourself. And the minute you other yourself, you are not spiritual. Straight up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And as soon as you drop that GoFundMe, I mean, and that's really what it be about. You know what I'm saying? It'd be about you're trying to make money off of this thing. It's join my, young Pharaoh got some university, the way Dr. Umar got some school that Lord knows what they're teaching at the university and if the school will ever be built. So I think it goes back. Maybe that's why Malachi York Republicans. Yeah, well, I think that maybe it goes back to Republicans because it's like there's that black capitalist piece to it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like it's not really about enlightening people.
Scamming.
It's about,
let's be honest. It's scamming. I allegedly. So people don't see one hood. It is scamming. It is a grift. How? What universe? Where? Where? Yeah. No, it's what Donald Trump has done. It's all this stuff. It is. That's what people are doing.
It's in Cairo.
It is scamming. Allegedly, it's writing these books. It's taking from the people who have the least to give, whether it's Trump and these poor white working class folks, or these poor Black people that are paying their last $25 to read some book that they done translated when really it's something they got off Google Translate, and it's in the people.
100%.
It's a scam. It's a grift.
I know.
Let me ask you a question, though,
Miracle. It's Herbalife for niggas, man. That's all it is.
Right. It's kind of like, right. You can say the words, you can say some four syllable words, but at the end of the day, it's going to lead to, I got 500 slots, and I need everybody to put $50 up, and then that's when it becomes
multi-level management.
Let me ask you this, Miracle, because so the question is this: what's worse? Is it the Hotep, Black people, or is it a Black person like Lori Lightfoot, as the mayor of Chicago? Right, we've celebrated.
Lori's worse, and not because she's gay, because she has harmed.
I didn't know she was gay.
Black people.
She's queer, yeah.
With her broke down Steve Harvey suits, you thought. Now let me stop. The Lord is working with me today.
I just didn't know. Maybe she just can't dress. I don't know.
This woman,
but that was what we celebrated.
Before you get into it,
Miracle.
Okay,
Miracle. Before you get into it, because we celebrated this was representation. This is the word I was looking for. A black queer woman was running Chicago for the first time, and it was looked at nationally, not by activists in Chicago. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But nationally, it was portrayed as, finally, we have representation. We have a Black queer woman running Chicago. So please go back to your breakdown. I just want to
first, I don't know who we is. We I am my friend. So no. First off, Lori Lightfoot, just like Keisha here in Atlanta, are lockstep in with the police state. The first thing Keisha did here in Atlanta was give the police more money. What Lori Lightfoot has done, and we found out 60% of the COVID 65% of the COVID stuff went to the police officers to boost. People were starving. People were being evicted. You had teachers sitting outside in the freezing cold and snow. You had kids without Wi-Fi and internet. You had police officers still killing and shooting people in Chicago. And what Lori Lightfoot did was turn her head, run and support other people who are harmful for the Black and brown community, and used her identity to weaponize. Literally, when people were marching, she put up bridges so they couldn't march. She gave these police officers bonuses and raises. Meanwhile, people in her city are dying, and she didn't give a damn because they're poor Black and brown working class folks. So no, what Lori has done is horrible, almost unforgivable. But these Hoteps are doing almost the same type of thing, and would be Lori Lightfoot if they were in her position. It's the same mindset because they don't have this identity and support for their people. You have to love Black people, and if you're fighting for liberation, you're fighting to liberate all of us, not to be a white supremacist in a blackface.
And
a lot of y'all just want to be white supremacists.
Treble paraphrased me last week, and I've been saying this for weeks on here. Niggas hate white supremacy because they're jealous of it. And that's just the fact of the matter. We spent the past 10 minutes chatting about Hoteps and all that, and people might view this as divisive, but the fact of the matter remains, we've been saying this. It's not just white people that are white supremacists. Black people can more efficiently uphold the tenets of white supremacy. And we see this manifest with your Black Israelites to be outside spitting on sisters and doing all this other wildness and madness out here. The same thing with the Black Hoteps be abusing you verbally when you walk past and telling Black women how to dress and all these other things. Or if it's Lori Lightfoot literally turning her head against one of the most vulnerable communities in the United States of America in order to give bonuses to the people that are literally killing them. You're helping
Right.
the oppressor. So we don't want to hear about all these things about like, oh, well, I'm here with representation for black people. No, you are 700 steps back, my nigga. Like you were doing nothing but harm, right? It's just that simple. What Dr. Cheryl say, Lightfoot got a heavy foot on black necks. That's so factual. Because again, it's these black people that can't wait to tear other black people down when they get into power. Like it's just a fact. Like you get me? It's like you come out here and you tap dancing and you doing all this shit. These white folks is eating it up. They love it because you're doing the work for them. You're doing the leg work for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think like what, you know, we just saw in Chicago, you know, that black woman who was, you know, stripped naked in her own home when, you know, undercover cops came in and basically, you know, initially Lori Lightfoot said, oh, I didn't see the video. Come to find out that she had seen the video. She knew about what happened and kind of didn't say anything. And it's like, man, you know, here you have like a black woman in this position and you think like having this person in this position would mean that there would be some type of, you know, like feeling or love, like Miracle talked about for our people. That if something like that happened that's so egregious that this black woman would step in and like, no, we can't do it like that. But to see somebody that be black and queer be in lockstep with, you know, a white supremacist institution that has harmed black and queer people, and still do that, it shows, like you said, like we see, you know, Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court, or like we see, you know, other black people who have been, you know, in these positions. It's like just having a black face in these positions does not equal our liberation, and we shouldn't think of it like that. What we should be thinking of, and shout out to the organizers in Chicago that are working to hold her accountable, that are working to make sure that she's a one-term mayor, and that hopefully we get somebody like actually progressive in these seats, you know what I'm saying? And so definitely want to shout those people out, you know what I mean? But speaking of that, I mean, you know, we had a commentary, right, you know, this week about Pittsburgh, you know what I'm saying? From, you know, Jerry Dickerson, who's not only a lawyer, you know, he ran for Congress, basically saying like Pittsburgh is an apartheid city. And that's something that he's been tweeting about, like, do y'all feel like Pittsburgh is an apartheid? Like, is the language apartheid like too strong for Pittsburgh because of what we saw happening in South Africa? Like, what do y'all think?
If they had their way, it'd be worse.
So I know apartheid is one of those words that people do not like, whether it's talking about Pittsburgh or Palestine, and people have strong words about that. So that we understand that. However, when you're creating policy that has an end result that repeatedly harms one segment of the population, what else is there to say? You know it's harming. You're not actively trying to do anything to stop it. What else can we say?
Right. Well,
especially like when they're going into black communities and taking their housing and moving those black families further outside of the city so that they can pick up occupancy within it. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's not too far off from what's going on.
You literally beat me to it, and thank you for saying that, because if you look at what apartheid, Jasiri, I'm sorry, brother.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
If you look at what apartheid was apartheid did this shading tier of removing people. You had colored people, which in South Africa are light-skinned black people or biracial people, closer to the city, and then black, indigenous Africans and Indians were pushed farther from the city limits. This is what Pittsburgh has been doing in this gentrification process over the past 12 years or whatnot. You have black people being displaced, and Pittsburgh is currently the the 8th most gentrified city in North America. And by the end of 2021, it's supposed to be the 6th most gentrified region. And with that, you have 3 black people on average leaving a day, either by their own will or displacement. So if this is, again, like Miracle said, if you continuously make these policies that are violent towards black people, there's no other way to put it than calling this an apartheid city, because the policing is indicative of that. The education system is indicative of that. The quality of life for black women, the financial status and structure, and the residential and housing structure are nothing but violent towards black people.
Yeah, I just want to actually talk about, I just want to quote a little bit from the article, because he actually says in the article, the hallmark of South Africa's apartheid cities was not simply segregation, it was racial inequities exacerbated by segregation. He talks about how Pittsburgh produce some of the nation's starkest racial disparities. Black residents in Pittsburgh fall far below similar cities in health, income, employment, and educational outcomes. It says, he says, more Black children in Pittsburgh grow up in poverty than 95% of similar cities. 1/3 of Black women live in poverty in the city. They're 5 times more likely to be poor than white men. Black adult mortality rates are higher in Pittsburgh than almost every similar situated city. The Black male homicide rates is some of the highest in the country. Black mothers are 3 times more likely to be compared to white mothers to give birth to extremely low weight babies. Black infant mortality rate is much higher than white babies in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, he's going on and Black fetal deaths 2 times more likely among Black women. Black maternal mortality rates is greater than most cities. And so I think when you see like the actual like data that like he's not, you know, and you know, we don't know, you know, Jerry Dickerson to be, it's not like he's some super radical guy, you know what I'm saying? But he's actually using data, and it's surprising to me that, like, you know, because we have, you know, we have people in that are leading the city that claim progressive, you know what I'm saying? So it is wild to see that, but like what we haven't really seen. You leaving, Dr. Russell? We about to all try to go stay in Barbados with Dr. Pay. But what we haven't seen is like, and I think this is what we need to start asking with, as like Black people that live in Pittsburgh, to these folks that want us to vote for them, elect them, and put them in office. Where is your plan to challenge the Black mortality rates? Where is your plan to pull Black mothers and babies out of policy? Where is your plan around, you know, the disparities in the school system? Where is your plan? And if folks don't have a plan for that, then it's obvious, I think, at that point that you don't really care about us.
Absolutely.
So anything else that we want to?
Michael Jackson told us, you know,
they don't really care about us.
They really don't.
They don't really
All
care
I
about
want to
us.
say is that they don't really care about us.
So I don't know, like,
Listen.
do y'all, like, do we want to talk about, you know, I don't know if we're all going to try to start drinking Coca-Cola, or are we going to try to get a Coca-Cola sponsorship?
I mean, I'm a Pepsi man myself. I don't really.
I forgive you though. It's okay.
Conservatives are like pouring. Conservatives, like, you know, and I didn't know what was going on. I just saw conservatives pouring Coca-Cola in toilets. I didn't know why, but apparently, you know, Coca-Cola has an employee training program, and you know, in that employee training program, you know, they use they had a slide, and this is from this was a video from Robin DiAngelo. I think she wrote the book White Fragility, is the book that she wrote. I mean, this is a white woman, but she said, like, it says, be less white. And it says to be less white is to be less oppressive, be less arrogant, be less certain, be less defensive, be less arrogant, be more humble, listen, behave, break with apathy, and break with white solidarity. Try to be less white. Is that like racist towards white people to tell a white person to be less white?
White people really do the most. It was a white lady. Like, white people do the most and the least at the same time. The same time, because literally you couldn't. I don't think a Black person doing D&I work, diversity and inclusion work, would have put that on a slide. Not a corporate slide, right? And so this is the thing where it's like sometimes you're doing too much. Like, yes, for the allyship, yes, for the accomplished training, but why would you put that on a slide?
It's like you're loud and wrong, and you want us to be proud of you for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you could have said, practice less white supremacy, but you went and, you know, you thought you were going to get the Black vote by saying be less white. It's like,
as if Coca-Cola hasn't been in Africa fucking that place up for about 25, 30 years. But that's besides the point.
I mean, that's real, but I think the question is kind of like what Miracle said. Like, I mean, if you're telling a white person to be less white, like, because like you said, I mean, we have a time and we got to acknowledge it. We have a time where, you know, oh, y'all drinking water now. Y'all getting parched. Like,
I've been doing this the whole show, bro.
We can't even. That's the thing. Can't even stay hydrated and mind your business. Look at them niggas drinking water, thinking they better than everybody.
That should be Dasani, brother. That should be supporting. But no, I think like you said, like, but we have a moment in time where white people are coming into this, like white people are desirous of trying to help. They're trying to find like where they can get in, and kind of like what you said, like to Miracle's point, like if you're saying be less white, like is that something that is going to actually do more harm? Where a white person can say, well, damn, if I can, it kind of reminds me of like, remember in the movie Malcolm X where the white lady came up to Malcolm X and was like, hey, Malcolm, like I really
what can me as a white
black,
woman do?
Black people, what can I do? He was like, nothing. Like kick rocks, get the hell up out of here. So like, yeah, it is interesting, but yeah, blame your, I guess white compadre, and Coca-Cola said they're refining this curriculum, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting that she put it that way, to be less white. And
I'll be honest, today was the first day I heard about this. I never heard about this today.
It would be interesting. I don't know, maybe if we have some white folks that are in the chat, or maybe want to tell us like how they took, like, did you take that as offensive, or are you like saying like I mean is because I mean, like you said, I think Treble would talk about white supremacy, but whiteness has been associated with a lot of bullshit for a lot of years. You know what I'm saying? And so how do you, I guess, reconcile that? You didn't ask what color you was going to be when you came out the womb. You came out the womb white. So then how do you begin to engage in this movement in an authentic way? I think that's the ultimate question, for folks that want to get involved.
This could be a segment called Facts Are Full of Shit. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Facts are full of shit.
I do like that. I like that.
That's hot.
We got a new segment. You know what I'm saying?
We can't. That has to take the place of what the fuck did Trump do now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because he's still doing wild shit, but the fact that like he's not on social media, you just don't see it as much.
Yeah.
But I mean, what the fuck is Trump doing now? He about to turn in them taxes. You know what I'm saying? And I hope my sister in NYC, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'll try to be. Thank you, Dan.
I'm trying to be less white every day.
Woo! All right, Dan. You know what I'm saying?
But we recognize your humanity, bro. We recognize 100%. Your humanity in it.
100%. And again, that's what we want. Folks to recognize our humanity. So let's get to our, the white pages. And I think like one of the things we tried to do with our book segment is, all of our books are Black authors. And I think was it and shout out to, I think Woogie sent us, was that you, Woogie, that sent us the list of all the books we recommended? I want to say
that's good. I know someone did that.
So shout out to, I think that was Woogie. So we got some folks saying no offense to just the facts, not offensive, but kind of like you said, white people
I have
need
to grab the book.
Hold on. Like they are important, and her saying that sounds like, look at me, I'm not one of those white people.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
like
that is a good point.
Yeah,
that is a good point. It's kind of like exactly. And so
it's still centering yourself. It's still centering yourself.
Thank you for that, Virginia.
It's white savior. It's all of that shit.
Yeah, I meant to send it to the chat, but Woogie actually sent us a list of these are the books that we recommended. So thank you, Woogie. We appreciate that. We're gonna put that list out there. So if
you know what he didn't send, Woogie ain't send no motherfucking dark chocolate.
But it's okay though. It's okay. I'm gonna forgive you, Woogie. I'll be back in Pittsburgh.
Man like Woogie is cool, innit?
I'll be back in Pittsburgh in April, and we'll go out to dinner then. For our white. Are we doing my book?
Yes.
Oh wait, Miracle! Show us the nails.
I did it myself. I mean, wow, a haterade.
Who's hating on the nails?
Yeah, I feel I feel like there were some haters, but it's okay. It's all right. I love you still. But this is the book of Audre Lorde, who I know some people don't know who they are, but they are one of the premier Black queer feminist thinkers, like the architect out of all of this. And you should read them. They have really great writings, really great essays. The Black Unicorn is one, inspired by Gazelle's The Black Unicorn Project. They just talk about what it means to be a woman, what it means to be political in this industry, and in this life, and it's just pretty cool. Yes. I love them, and y'all should read their work. Absolutely,
I would definitely recommend that, Farooq. So look that up in your spare time.
I don't know how to read.
That's how you can learn, bro. I can teach
you. How you gonna have me read some advanced shit when I just told you, man, I can't read?
First of all,
you seem like you're up for the challenge, bro. I believe in you.
You have books on tape. You have videos. You have other ways.
Audio books.
Yes. Shout out to the Carnegie Library. They have, I think it's called Libby. I may be lying, but they have an app where you can listen to books for free. So, shout out to the library.
Shout out to Carnegie Library. And then what's our call to action? Well, I think we had a couple call to actions. One, and shout out to the Allegheny County Bar Association. Yesterday they gave us an award, the Spirit Award, the Homer J.
It's funny you said that. I was washing my car today, and I had a lady stop me. She was like, "I seen you yesterday. I don't know your name, but I know you're one hood. We were in the same chat yesterday." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yo,
yes, absolutely." So, the name of the book again is being asked. Miracle. What's the name of the book again?
The Collected Poems. Shout out to Karis Bookstore, but the Collected Poems of Audre Lorde. You can get it at various small bookstores and other retailers.
But yes, so shout out to the Allegheny County Bar Association. They gave us the Spirit Award yesterday, and one of the things we talked about was the importance of the judicial elections that are coming up. There are a lot of powerful, progressive folks that are running for the judicial elections. There are 5, black people that are running currently right now for the judicial elections. And right now, to get on the ballot, you have to have a certain number of signatures. And so one of the things we're encouraging folks to do, investigate the judicial nominees, sign those petitions. There's 9 open seats. It would be great if we could fill those 9 seats with 9 progressive voices. And so we just want to encourage y'all, look into those judicial elections, find some of these judges that are talking about, ending mass incarceration, that are talking about the systemic and institutional racism that exists inside the criminal justice system, and support them because this is really unprecedented to have this many judicial seats open. So that's one of our call to actions. I think we have another call to action, right, Miracle?
Yes, and I was trying to get his name. I do apologize. He referenced earlier that there is an individual that I don't know him, but other people affiliated with us know and are personally affiliated with, who is facing 2 decades in prison for all intents and purposes. It's just being around a car, a police car that caught on fire, while the primary actor in that situation got 6 months. This Black African-American young male is still facing decades in federal prison. So we're asking people to sign on to this National Lawyers Guild letter. That is a demand to drop all charges. This goes to District Attorney Zapala as well as the U.S. Attorney, because people are facing state and federal charges. There are over 50 individuals facing charges from the various by Black Lives Matter protesting that happened over the summer and the spring. And so it can't be that community members are the only people who are facing incarceration, while every single day we get another notice that these police officers have lied, murdered, and killed people and get to go home unscathed.
So I do have. No, I was going to say I do have that information. His name is Christopher West, and Christopher West. And this was from an article that the Pittsburgh Current did. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Current. It said Christopher West has been sitting in the Allegheny County jail. Damn, one person just grabbing up all types of snacks, and then you getting your Slurp on Miracle. All right, so anyway, this is the snack episode of this week in White Supremacy. Lord have mercy. So shout out to so Christopher West. It says he's been denied bail. He's facing up to 20 years in prison for kicking the police car. So mind you, the young white boy that was on video setting a police car on fire.
That's arson, right? And all bro did was kick the car.
Setting it on fire. This young white kid got 6 months in a halfway house for setting a police car on fire. Christopher West has been denied bail, and he's facing up to 20 years in prison. And according to the Pittsburgh Current, he kicked a police car. He's been charged with conspiracy to destroy the police car, and he doesn't even know why. And so, please sign this letter to drop the charges for Christopher West. You know what I mean? A police car. And they think about it. Police kill actual people. Breonna's not coming back. George Floyd's not coming back. It was a Navy veteran in California who the police put the knee on his neck for 5 minutes. He was killed, and he was having some mental issues. His family called the police. He's not coming back. You know what I'm saying? And so the idea that kicking a police car, he's going to get 20 years, but these police officers get let off and and suffer no consequences for taking actual lives. We're not having that. You know what I'm saying? So definitely sign this form to drop charges against Christopher West. And absolutely, if we can help to push this forward, we'll do what we can. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I guess we can get into that on another show about our black politicians, Dr. Russell. You know what I'm saying? And because we want to make sure we ain't elected no Lori Lightfoots up here in Pittsburgh. So with that being said, any final closing comments?
Yeah, let me say one thing on a serious tip. This is exactly what we have this show for, is a platform to magnify the issues within the black community, right? And what we're doing here is we're bringing attention to a lot of things, not only nationally, but locally, as we have, a lot of people looking. And there's a lot of different people, there's a lot of different working parts and different opinions on this show. And while we might not always agree, we always moving towards something that represents solidarity within the black community, right? We don't all have to get along, but we do have to recognize that people are doing work to liberate black people. And what Mira will say, my ministry might not be everybody's ministry. You get me? But we still working. You get me? We still out here taking progressive steps at making Pittsburgh a liberated area for all black people. And that's exactly why we had this show. You get me?
Absolutely. And then shout out, to all those. I think that's a great point. You know what I'm saying? We might not agree on ideology or whatever, but if you're out here doing work, if you're out here supporting the community in any meaning and positive way, we thank you. You know what I'm saying? We big you up. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely don't want to have this be a platform where we're trying to take down somebody that's doing positive work out there in the community. So large up to y'all that's doing, to use your terminology, Farooq, for those that are doing positive work. And then understand.
Oh, real quick. We do have to. Yeah. I want to continuously large up Q Perry because the ice cream is selling like mad right now. So if you haven't had an opportunity to try Millie's Blackout Brownie that was brought to you by Q Perry, a third of the proceeds go to One Hood, right? And we're not saying that, plugging that, because we get paid off it. A third is really not that much money off of a $10 pint, but it's fucking delicious. And the fact that someone like Q is able to get support from an organization that's local in a racist ass city like Pittsburgh, and able to bring attention to these matters and create a delicious treat around black issues, that should give you, you know what? That makes Biden's hopefulness almost a little more palatable.
Absolutely. And shout out to Millie's. Shout out to Millie's ice cream as well. Because Millie's, it's cool.
It's real brownie bites in there, bro. I be fucking.
But I was gonna say, like Millie's actually took a stand. Like Millie's wasn't afraid as a company to say Black Lives Matter and collaborate with a black artist and put out an ice cream flavor to support a black organization. And then shout out to John Eagle for saying we want to include it, on our shelves. So if you go to John Eagle, I think you might even be able to get it online. And it's vegan. You know what I'm saying? So folks that's vegan, if you lactose
all allergy free, gluten free, dairy free, all of that.
All of that. So shout out to Millie's. And then I just also wanted to say, we're accessible. I think, you said it yesterday when we were talking kind of like Allegheny County Bar Association. We're super accessible. If there's anything yeah, like we're here. Like if there's anything like you want to share with us, if maybe we share some information that wasn't correct, or if you want to just pull our card and say, hey, we're super accessible. Like if you hit us at info@onehood, we down to sit down, talk, build with, grow with any folks in the community. So just know that, you know what I'm saying? Like we're approachable, we're accessible, and we're down to build with folks in the community. So holler at us if it's info@onehood, if it's or at onehood.org, if it's Jasiri X at onehood.org, Miracle at onehood.org, Shaheem at onehood.org, and that's it. So yes.
Don't email me. Don't email me.
If you email me, please have an ask because it's very awkward. Because I've been in a couple of meetings where people just wanted to talk to me, and I just didn't know what to say or what to do at that point.
Miracle too awkward for that.
Email.
I'm socially awkward.
But like you said, like yeah, it does seem kind of weird, but at the same time, we appreciate. Our community gave us a tremendous amount of support as an organization last year. To get, I also got an award from the AKAs. Shout out to the Pittsburgh chapter of the AKAs. That was a beautiful thing to be honored by the AKAs, and it's really the work of One Hood. It's not my soul work. It's really the work of One Hood, and so we do appreciate the support we've got,
Jasiri,
the love we got,
X and company,
the donations we got. No, it's a group, man. It's a unity thing. It's One Hood collectively.
Listen, you ain't gotta tell you don't have to sell me on the live, brother.
Yes,
you don't have to sell me.
The series, I made the same mistake, y'all. Jasiri's name does not have a Z in it.
No Z's.
So don't call him Jasiri.
It's like Siri, but with a J in front of it.
Yes, like Siri. If you got an Apple, Siri, Jasiri.
And it's not just sorry because he's too serious to be sorry.
Yeah.
Too serious to be sorry, my brother. Come on, let's give him them bars. You know what I'm saying? Let's get them bars off. So thank y'all for joining us. Is anything? Oh, tomorrow on Chill at 12 o'clock. Shout out to Julius Boatwright of Still Smiling and Ms. Danielle Brown of the Jalen Brown Foundation. Shout out to the both of them. And then this Saturday, what's happening
Next Level Slam.
in LA?
You know what I'm saying? We have the Next Level Slam. We want to hear about your Black history. If you want to hear about local poets' Black history, just come join us on One Hood Media's platform. And while I have the mic, Reject. I'm dropping Reject soon. We're doing a campaign on the IG page. Go check that out at Reject PGH. I'm there. We're talking about fears that we would like to reject and just getting the conversation started. You know what I'm saying? Support Black business.
Absolutely. And so for those that joined us actually also last Friday on Vibe Check is going to be rescheduled soon, right? But we'll be coming back to Clubhouse with Vibe Check. So just stay tuned, man. It's a lot more positive things that One Hood is doing in the community. And hopefully soon, man, we'll be able to get outside and build with you in person. But until then, social distance, wear your damn mask, stay in the house, be safe, and we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.